Hello dear students. Today we are going to start with our 7th chapter from Honeycomb book, that is Expert Detectives. This is written by Sharada Dwivedi. As the name suggests, we can say that there is some story related to the detectives. Now in this story children, there are two little kids. These are brothers and sisters of each other, and these are actually the siblings. Now these two act as detectives and they find a mystery of a man whom they call Mystery Man and whose name is Mr. Nath. The name of the two kids were Maya and Nishad. Nishad was the younger sibling while Maya was the elder sibling. Now there are following characters in the story. There is Nishad who is the younger brother. Maya is the elder sister. Mr. Nath is the mystery man who lives and who resides as a tenant in the house of Shankar. You can see 8th point, Shankar is the landlord. Now how do these children know Mr. Nath? Because near to Shankar's property there was a clinic of Maya and Nishad's mother. So Maya and Nishad used to come to their mother's clinic, and from there they came to know about Mr. Nath who used to live in a property adjoining their mother's clinic. That was the property of Shankar. Then there is Nishad's mother who is a doctor. Also, Mr. Nath was a patient of Nishad's mother. Ramesh is a restaurant owner. There is a little correction here, students. The sixth number, Mr. Mehta, he is actually the restaurant owner, and Ramesh is a worker. And then there is Mr. Nath's friend also. So let us start reading this. Nishad was a boy of 7. He was also called 7 because his name starts with the 7th musical note. So here there is Nishad, and Maya used to call Nishad 7 because his name, Ni, starts with the 7th musical note. Maya was his elder sister. The two children were curious about Mr. Nath as his appearance was very mystic, and they had to find and solve this mystery. Nishad was of the point that Mr. Nath was a man of heart, but Maya was of the point that Mr. Nath was a crook and criminal. So there were two different perspectives of these children. One day, the children's marbles rolled into Mr. Nath's room and they got a chance to see him. According to Nishad's mother, who was a doctor, Mr. Nath was very polite patient. So from here, Nishad was very sure that Mr. Nath was polite. But then there was Maya, who continuously kept on thinking that Mr. Nath was trying to hide his appearance and was trying to hide his character from the other people around him. So he was trying to become as if he were very polite and kind hearted. So Maya compares Mr. Nath with a monster, but Nishad disagrees at this point. Nishad thinks that Mr. Nath is a poor man, but Maya says that he cannot be poor as he is a criminal and he earns in millions. Maya also adds that Mr. Mehta told her. Now, who is Mr. Mehta? The restaurant owner. That Ramesh, the worker, brings up the meal for Mr. Nath every day from the downstairs. So Ramesh was the worker who used to bring food for Mr. Nath from the downstairs of Mr. Mehta's restaurant. But Mr. Nath doesn't work anywhere. Then how can he have money? This was said by Nishad. That if he is not working anywhere, that he might be very poor. Then how is he even getting the money to pay the bills of the food from the restaurant? Maya says that he must be a criminal and so he has lots of hidden treasure. Now Maya has a doubt of scars on Mr. Nath's face. Now Mr. Nath's face had some scars and she tells Nishad that those were definitely during a police fight or if or when the police and the cops had set his house to the fire so that to let the crook out. But then Nishad insists here that their mother told them that those scars on Mr. Nath's face were because of some burns. Now then comes Monday. On Sunday was Nishad's and Maya's mother's birthday, and after that comes the Monday. On Monday, actually, Maya was busy with her school friend, but Nishad was free. So Nishad went along with his mother to the clinic. Now, this was the time when they were having some summer vacations. So, as Nishad followed his mother to the clinic, he actually went to Mr. Nath's door, and because he was very tensed about Mr. Nath's gaunt appearance, because he was so slim and so thin that Nishad had mistook him to be very poor and starving to death. So that's why he went to Mr. Nath's room, that was room number 10, and he knocked on Mr. Nath's door to give him a chocolate as he was tensed about Mr. Nath's gaunt appearance. He went down to restaurant and found that Ramesh takes two meals and two tea every day for him. Now, this is the part 1 only. Ramesh talks about another mystery which he sees. Now, when Nishad asked Ramesh about Mr. Nath, so Ramesh talked about the mystery. Every Sunday, there comes one man as a guest in Mr. Nath's room. He is tall, fair, stout, and wears spectacles. So, there was a guest who used to come every day, means every Sunday, to Mr. Nath's room. Now he was unlike Mr. Nath, he was very tall, he was fair, he was stout, as well as he was wearing some spectacles. Unlike Ramesh, his visitor talks a lot and is very interactive. Now when these things were narrated to Maya by Nishad, which Ramesh talked about, so Maya talks that the criminals may look very ordinary. Then she informs Seven about the news of Hyderabadi housebreakers. Nishas looks doubtful, and Dix agrees with Maya, calling Mr. Nath a crook and a criminal. So Nisha does not like this point of view of Maya, that she used to call Mr. Nath a crook and a criminal who was hiding his character. After the vacations, the schools were about to reopen, but one day, because of very heavy rainfall, the streets were flooded, and because of that, there was a holiday, and the children were asked to sit at home itself. So there comes Maya, who sits on a table with a paper, and she starts jotting down some important points. Now comes part number 2. So let us start reading the part number 2. Now, part 2 of this story. So, when Maya was sitting on a table on that unexpected holiday and she was jotting some important points, so Maya wrote in large block letters on the paper, catching a crook, expert detectives Nishad and Maya Pandit by appointment to the whole world. Now she started writing with this heading and title. Now, in about half an hour, Maya wrote down some important facts which she wanted to tell Nishad, who was lying on the bed reading the comics. Now, Maya wrote some important facts about Mr. Nath in about half an hour. So, let us read about what were those facts. Fact number 1. To find out first name of Mr. Nath was the first fact, as most criminals have an alia. Alia means alternate name. So it might be possible that Mr. Nath was also having some alternate name. So to prevent that and to find the real name was their fact number 1. Fact 2 was the thing that tenants at Shankar's house say that he is mad, strange and unfriendly. The tenants who were living on Shankar's house other than Mr. Nath said that he was very unfriendly. Fact number 3. He doesn't talk to anyone and is mannerless. Nishad interrupts by saying that he was very polite with them and their mother. Fact 4. That he doesn't receive any letters. Fact 5. He has been living in Shankar's house for more than a year. Fact 6. He doesn't work and sits all day long in the room. Fact 7. The kids and grown ups in Shankar's house are scared of him. Fact 8. Food and tea are taken to his room from Ramesh and he doesn't care of what he eats. He pays his bills and tips to Ramesh immediately. Now children, you have to learn all these facts in serial wise. Then Nishad was not paying much attention as he was very sympathetic towards Mr. Nath. But here Maya was talking all the things which were proving that Mr. Nath is definitely a crook and a criminal. Now he worried that Mr. Nath doesn't have many friends, but Maya interrupts Nishad, saying that a crook won't have much friends, and he even doesn't like to make much friends. Maya says that the man who visits Mr. Nath is an accomplice. Now, what do you mean by accomplice? The one who is a partner in the crime. She doubts that might be he keeps the loot and the treasures, while Mr. Nath was doing all the crime. Nishad says that Mr. Nath can't be a crook because he always gives Ramesh generous tips. So, if he was a crook, then why would he even give these generous tips to Ramesh? Maya doubts that Mr. Nath must be bribing him to keep Ramesh quiet so that Ramesh does not open his mouth. But then, children, why did even Ramesh talk about this mystery and discuss this mystery with Nishad? Nishad does not like Maya's behavior to Mr. Nath, so he shows arrogancy towards Maya. At this point, Maya and Nishad starts fighting. Nishad had its point to find that why Mr. Nath was so thin and why was he not having any friends, while Maya was of the point that if he was living in Shankar's house for more than a year and still not having any friends, it means that he was definitely a crook and that man was his accomplice in his crime. So Nishad talks about one reason of Mr. Nath not having any friends, and he was even worried. But Maya says that because he is a crook, he is not having any friends. Nishad says that probably he might not have any friends to make with. Maya calls him a nasty bear. Nishad resists. Maya tells that cops would take Nishad along with Mr. Nath to jail. Nishad merely glared at Maya and walked out of the room, ignoring her. And here the chapter ends with the mystery of the men unsolved.